So there, kids, today we are going to learn how to solve for variables along a straight line or along a circle. Okay? So ibig sabihin yan, you will either be solving for angles along a straight line or you will be solving for angles that basically form a circle at some point. Okay. So a straight line measures 180 degrees while a full circle basically measures a total of 360 degrees. Okay, all this itong dalawang information na to is very important for you to know on how to equate our equation, our problem basically. Kasi you will either equate one equation to 180 if it is a straight line, and you are going to equate it to 360 if the figure shows you a full circle. Okay, so yan ang importante kasi. Okay, going back to basics muna tayo. If we have, for example, we have points A, B, C with our vertex of 0 or O rather, sorry. And let's say we have another. We have D, point D. Okay. So let's say ito ngayon is X. Just one X. And this one is roughly around, let's say, 95 degrees. And this one is, let's say, around 78 degrees. Okay. So it is a straight line. And knowing if you're going to add all these three angles, ito, this is one angle, this is second angle, and this is the third angle. If you're going to add all three, such as having the variable written down first, X plus 78 degrees plus 95 degrees. And if you're going to add all of them up, it forms a straight line, diba? If you see the logic here. All these three, 1, 2, 3, adding them all up forms a straight line. So since all three forms a straight line, it is now equivalent to 180 degrees. Let me just change that color again. 180 degrees. And how do we solve for this process? All you need to do first is to add, if you notice pala, we have two sides, yung parati kong nire-review. This side along with X and the other side of kung saan nyo inequate or ni-equal yung formula natin. Okay. The equation. So all you need to do first, if may multiple given tayo, I mean in this case, all you need to do is to add them all up first. So that's 78 plus 95. Add nyo lang. 8 plus 5 will give us 13. Carry over. That's 173. Okay, so we now have 173. So i-rewrite lang natin yan sa equation natin. So that's X plus 173 degrees is equivalent to 180 degrees. Okay, you all know that we are solving for X here. Diba? You're solving for X. Ito yung sinasolve natin. So you want to leave X alone in one side of the equation, knowing that this is this takes one side and this is the other side of the equation. Okay. So gusto natin dapat mag-isa lang si X. It should be alone in one side of the equation. So what are we going to do here? So we need to remove this positive 173. We need to remove this positive 173 by simply subtracting 173 from this side of the equation. So ibig sabihin, X plus 173 degrees minus 173 degrees. Because 173 minus 173 will give you a 0. Okay, rewriting it is equivalent to 180 degrees. But then again, if you still remember that I always remind you, what you do in one side of the equation, you should also do it on the other side of the equation. Okay, yun ang golden rule when it comes to mathematics. If you notice that we subtracted 173 degrees here in this side of the equation, in this side of the equation, which means you should also subtract 173 degrees from on the other side of the equation. So that's minus 173 degrees. So, minus ko lang. I-remove ko lang to. Okay, so from there, you already know that this is 0. So that will leave you with x alone lang. And rewriting this 180 degrees minus 173 degrees. And doing so, solving it, you are now left with just 7 degrees. Which means x is equivalent to 7 degrees. Okay? So ganun lang yung ginagawa natin. Now, what if you have multiple same type of variable? Such as far as I know, na-learn na to ng ibang grade level. Okay. So, let's say, sabihin natin ito, this is x. This is 2x. And this is roughly around 25 degrees. And this is, let's say, 27 degrees. Okay. Again, you know that all this equate to what? 360 or 180? It's a straight line. So, all these angles, ito, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 angles. If you're going to add them all up, it's equivalent to 180 degrees because it is a straight line. So, writing them up again, kailangan nyo isulat yung variables mauna. So, x plus 2x, okay, so that's x plus 2x, plus 27 degrees plus 25 degrees. Writing them all up, it's equivalent to 180 degrees. Adding them all up kasi ganyan yan. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then again, if you notice now, Teacher Mark, meron tayong dalawang extra. Okay. Okay, wait lang. Let me change this value muna first. Let me change the value of 27. So, gawin lang natin 26 degrees, okay? So, 26 degrees. Okay, ni-change ko lang po yung value. So, that will not have a remainder. So, going back. Anong gagawin natin dito ngayon is to just add all yung given aside from the variables. So, 25 plus 26 will give you 51 degrees. So, rewriting the equation, we now have x plus 2x plus 51 degrees equals 180 degrees. Okay. Then again, if you notice that we have now an x and a 2x, you can also put them together. Just like, for example, if you have 1 apple plus 2 apples, you'll have an equivalent of 3 apples. If you have 4 oranges plus 3 oranges, you'll have an equivalent of 7 oranges. Okay. So just the same logic there. If you have 1x plus you have 3x, you will have 4x's. If you have an x plus another x, you'll have 2x's together. Okay? So ganun lang yung logic dito. Especially for the grade 6 kasi ginawa nyo na to. You already did this during your first quarter. Ang grade 5 bago pa lang dito. Okay. So x plus 2x will give you 3x altogether. And rewriting the equation, that's plus 51 degrees equivalent to 180 degrees. Okay? So, all you need to do now is to leave this 3x alone in one side of the equation. And by doing so, you need to remove this positive 51. So, rewriting it, 3x plus 51 degrees. To remove a positive 51, you need to apply the opposite of it, the opposite of it, which is negative 51 or minus 51 degrees. And then again, the simple rule, what you do in one side of the equation, you should also do it on the other side of the equation. So 51 minus 51 is equivalent to 0. you're now left with 3x equals 180 degrees minus 51 degrees. So rewriting further, 3x is equivalent to 180 minus 51. So solving this, we have 180 degrees minus 51. You borrow, this is now 7, this is now 10. 10 minus 1 is 9. 7 minus 5 is 2. And bring down 1. You have 129 degrees. Teacher Mark, is this our answer na? No. Like what I've said before, you want to leave x alone in one side of the equation. And if you notice that x now has a companion of 3. And 3x basically refers to 3 multiplied to x, or 3 times x. So to remove 3, just like kanina, no? Yung kanina dito sa taas. Since it is addition, to remove it, you make use of the opposite of addition, which is subtraction. Same lang yung ginawa natin sa first din. Addition, to remove its value, or to make it, para tanggalin natin siya sa equation, we need to remove or use its opposite, which is subtraction. So dito naman, since our operation is multiplication, what is the opposite of multiplication? Opposite of multiplication is division, which means in this side of the equation, like what I've said, meron tayong two sides of the equation separated by the equal sign. Okay. Two sides of the equation, which means in this side of the equation, we should now divide this value by 3. Kung ano yung given. Okay, whatever is the coefficient of our variable, which is in this case is 3. Since 3 is our coefficient for our variable of x, we should divide it by 3 as well. And the golden rule goes, what you do in one side of the equation, you should also do it on the other side of the equation. If you divided this side by 3, you should also divide the other side by 3. 3 divided by 3 is, you basically just cancel it, and you are now left with just x alone. Rewriting this information here, 129 divided by 3. So solving this, 129 degrees divided by 3, 12 divided by 3 will give you 4. 4 times 3 is 12. 0, 9. 9 times 3, 9 divided by 3 will give you 3. So 3 times 3 is equivalent to 9. So that now leaves us with 0. Which means our answer here is 43 degrees. The value of x is equivalent to 43 degrees. Now, dyan sa paper nyo, you might see that you are actually asked for either your x or the other value of x, such as yung 2x. So in this case, makita nyo, we have an x here and a 2x over here. So whatever is asked dyan sa paper ninyo, tignan nyo na lang. So you are now asked for the value of x. Obviously, the value of x is 43 in this case. So the value of x here is 43. That's how you solved it earlier. Now, how do you solve for the value of 2x? Sinasabi dito that you should solve for the value of 2x. Knowing that 2x is expressed as 2 multiplied to x. And what is our value of x again? It's 43. So rewrite nyo lang ulit. That's 2 times 43. What is 2 times 43? Siyempre, no calculators allowed. Okay? Kasi nawawala yung basic natin. Kasi basic na lang to eh. Okay lang sana if we're dealing with millions, thousands, 100,000s, magka-calculator. Pero this one is very basic, so you need to make use of your skills. 3 times 2 is 6. 2 times 4 is 8. So here comes your answer. That 2x is equivalent to 86 degrees in this case. Okay? So that's basically how you solve for the unknown, no? So the same goes for when it forms a circle. Kapag it forms multiple circles, multiple lines combining forming a circle. So same logic lang. So, kunwari, let's say this is, I should form a smaller one. X, and then this is 4x, kunwari. So, if you notice, the figure basically shows us a full circle. And with all the other given angles, let's say this is equivalent to 75 degrees. And this one is roughly around 80 degrees. Example lang yan ha. And this is roughly around 40 degrees. So, doing so, alam nyo ngayon that this forms a full circle, which means you have to equate everything or all to 360. Okay, again, 360 na ngayon, not 180, because then again, this forms a circle na. So, rewriting it, we have x plus 4x kasi inuuna natin ang variable when we write it in an equation if you are a beginner. Kasi kung advanced na kayo, it doesn't matter how you write it as long as you get the logic. So, you have 75 degrees plus 80 degrees plus 40 degrees. So, again, you have your angle x here, your angle 4x, your 75, your 80, and your 40. Okay, nandyan yan lahat. And since all these angles form a full circle, you equate it to 360. Kanina straight line lang, kaya 180 lang. So, same lang, same logic, same process talaga. You add all yung mga given, which is 75 plus 80 plus 40. So, you have 5 here. 7 plus 8 will give you 15. Plus 4 will give you 19. So, that's 195. Okay. So, rewriting the equation, we now have x plus 4x plus 195 equals 360 degrees. Again, you want to leave this excess muna alone. So, you want to remove this positive 195. So, rewriting this, all you need to do is x plus 4x plus 195 degrees minus 195 degrees. Okay, para matanggal natin siya. And the golden rule nga, what you do in one side of the equation, you should also do it on the other side of the equation. So, ibig sabihin, this 360 degrees will also be equivalent to minus 195 degrees. Okay. So, putting them together, x plus 4x, removing this value pala muna. This is now equivalent to 0. So, wala nang value yan. Rewriting it, we now have x plus 4x is equivalent to 360 minus 195 degrees. So, doing so, we have 360 minus 195 degrees. Borrow here, this will become 5, this will become 10, so that's 5. Borrow here din, this will become 2, and this will become 15. 15 minus 9 is 6. 2 minus 1 is 1. 165. Okay, degrees. So, ibig sabihin, when rewriting this equation now, we have x plus 4x equals 165 degrees. Okay? So, ngayon, you now see this. Nakikita nyo to, like what we did earlier. Iko-combine natin yung ating, saan na yun? Yes, combining our variables. So, you have an x and a 4x. So, an x plus 4x is equivalent to 5x, which is now equals to 165 degrees. And since 5x is 5 times x, so which means you need to deal with the opposite of multiplication, which is division. Earlier, we divided it by 3 because the value of this, the coefficient of x is 3. Ngayon, if you notice that our coefficient here is 5, which means we should divide this by 5 as well. So, canceling that, and what you do in one side of the equation, you should also do it to the other side of the equation, which now leaves you with x alone. So, 165 divided by 5 is 3, 15, 1, 5 is 3. So the answer here is equivalent to 33 degrees. So if you notice, if you're going to check your paper nga, meron tayong, kunwari in this case, it's x and 4x. You already know the value of your x, which is in this case is x is equivalent to 33 degrees. Sa 4x nyo naman, you already know that 4 is multiplied to x, and you know that the value of x here is 33. So that's 4 multiplied to 33. So doing so, 33 times 4, 4 times 3 will give you 12, 4 times 3 will give you also 12, plus 1 is 132 all in all. Okay? So, which means the value of your 4x here is 132 degrees. Okay? So that is basically it for today. Again, just to remind you, solving for a straight line is equivalent to 180 degrees, and the full circle is equivalent to 360 degrees. And that is it for today.